Let's now continue with our ortho image based discussion. So, this is Digital Shoe Space Maintainer. It is also called Eruption Guidance Appliance or intraalveolar as seen in the diagram. It is used in case of early loss of second molar or ectopic eruption of first molar or in case of ankylosed second molar. The primary second molar guides the eruption of the permanent molar in this appliance. Space regainer. It is used when primary teeth are lost and reduction in arch length has already occurred. Space is regained by the distal movement of the molar. This is Gerber's space regainer. Now this is a jack screw and this is space regainer using cantilever spring. Both these diagrams look similar except for the expansion screw in the jack screw and finger springs in space regainer using cantilever springs. So, in jack screw, expansion screw is activated to create space in anterior-posterior direction. Whereas in space regainer using cantilever spring is used to distalize the molar, hence it creates space. This is continuous force. Example for this is arch wire. This is the diagram of interrupted force. Here the force is gradually reduced to 0. Example for this is elastomeric chains. Intermittent force. Example for this is headgear, chin cup and removable appliances. This is Wien symbolic diagram, that is Ackermann-Profit classification. It identifies 5 major characteristics that are to be considered and are described in this diagram. Step 1 is alignment. It involves assessment of the alignment and symmetry of the dental arches. It's classified as ideal, crowded and spaced. Step 2 is profile. It involves the consideration of the profile. Profile is described as convex, concave or straight. The facial divergence is also considered. That is anterior divergence or posterior divergence. Step 3 is transverse deviation, that is type. Transverse skeletal and dental relationship is evaluated. Buccal and palatal crossbites, if any, are noted. So these crossbites are further classified as unilateral or bilateral. In addition to this, differentiation is made between dental and skeletal crossbites. Step 4 is class. It is assessment of sagittal relationship. It is classified as angles class 1, class 2 div 1, class 2 div 2, class 3, and differentiation is made between skeletal and dental malocclusion. Step 5 is deep bite. Malocclusion in vertical plane are noted. They are described as anterior and posterior open bite, anterior deep bite, or posterior collapsed bite. A mention is made whether the malocclusion is skeletal or dental. Pitch, roll and yaw classification is an extension to Ackermann's profit classification of malocclusion. It describes the complete rotation of the structures in 3D space. Pitch is up-down deviation around the anterior-posterior axis. It describes the upward and downward tilt of the palate or mandibular plane. Roll is the up-down deviation around the transverse axis. Canter occlusion is described as roll. Yeah, it is the left-right deviation around the vertical axis. It describes the rotation of the jaw or dentition to one side or the other. It can cause unilateral class 2 or class 3 malocclusion. Displacement. Displacement is the movement of the whole bone as a unit. Displacement is of two types: primary displacement and secondary displacement. Primary displacement: if bone gets displaced as a result of its own growth, it is called primary displacement. For example, the growth of the maxilla at the tuberosity region results in pushing the maxilla against the cranial base, which results in the displacement of the maxilla in forward and downward direction, is primary displacement. Example for this is growth of maxilla at tuberosity area, which results in pushing the maxilla against the cranial base, which in turn results in displacement of the maxilla in forward and downward direction. Secondary displacement: if the bone gets displaced as a result of growth of the enlargement of the adjacent bone, it is called secondary displacement. For example, the growth of the cranial base causes the forward and downward displacement of the maxilla. The growth of the adjacent bone results in forward and downward displacement of the maxilla is secondary displacement. Lyman's growth curve. The body tissue can be broadly classified into four types. They are lymphoid tissue, neural tissue, general tissue, and genital tissue. Each of these tissues grow at different times and rates. Lymphoid tissue proliferates rapidly in late childhood and reaches almost 200% of adult size. This is an adaptation to protect the children from infection, as they are more prone to it. By 18 years of age, it reaches adult size. Neural tissue. It grows rapidly and reaches adult size by 6 to 7 years of age. A very little neural tissue growth occurs after 6 to 7 years. General tissue or visceral tissue consists of muscle, bones, and other organs. They exhibit an S-shaped curve with rapid growth up to 2 to 3 years of age, followed by slow growth between 3 to 10 years, and after 10th year a rapid phase of growth occurs, terminating by 18th to 20th year. Genital tissue consists of reproductive organs. They show negligible growth until puberty. However, they grow rapidly at puberty, reaching adult size, after which the growth ceases. Primate spaces are physiological spaces that are seen mesial to the maxillary canine and distal to the mandibular canine. They are also called Simon's spaces or anthropoid spaces. These spaces help in placement of the canine cusp of the opposite arch. Here we see the relationship between distal surfaces of upper and lower deciduous molars. That is called terminal plane. A normal feature of deciduous dentition is flesh terminal plane, where the distal surfaces of the upper and lower deciduous molar are in same vertical plane. If the distal surface of the mandibular deciduous molar is distal to the distal surface of the maxillary deciduous molar, it is distal step. If the distal surface of the mandibular deciduous molar is mesial to the distal surface of the maxillary deciduous molar, it is mesial step. Ugly duckling stage. It is self-correcting malocclusion that is seen in maxillary incisor region between 8 to 9 years of age. This is a particular situation that is seen during the eruption of permanent canines. As they erupt, they displace the roots of the lateral incisors mesially. This results in transmitting of the force on the roots of the central incisors, which also get displaced mesially. A resultant distal deviation of the crowns of two central incisors is seen, which causes midline spacing. So, ugly duckling stage is seen with eruption of the maxillary canine. As they erupt, they displace the roots of the lateral incisors mesially. This results in transmission of force on the roots of the central incisors, which also gets displaced mesially. This results in distal deviation of the crowns of two central incisors, causing midline spacing. However, this condition is corrected by itself when the canines erupt, and the pressure is transferred on the roots to the cornal area of the incisors.